Rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine is back behind bars tonight. The performer, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, was arrested for allegedly violating the conditions of his supervised release. Hernandez was out on bail after pleading guilty and testifying against a violent gang. Today, the judge ordered he be held until November 12th at the infamous Metropolitan Detention Center, where Sean Combs is also being held.
Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, we just live tweeted the detention hearing of Daniel Hernandez, a.k.a. Tekashi 6ix9ine, rapper, cooperator, previously gang member. He's been on supervised release. He's actually been down in Florida, but he, according to the judge and to probation, he's been violating his supervised release. Not only did he go to Las Vegas without permission, where he said, hey, he spoke for himself. He said, hey, I performed before 20,000 people. I texted them before I left. But seemingly dispositively, he was in the Dominican Republic in detention and then freed but not allowed to leave the country for some kind of a violent incident, according to them. He says he was extorted by the judge. That's what his lawyer, Lance Lazaro, said as well. Judge Engelmeyer, after a lengthy proceeding in which Tekashi 6ix9ine spoke for himself and said, yay, bro, I'm doing my best. My life is ruined. I got beat up in the gym as a cooperator. After that, Judge Engelmeyer has ordered him detained. They mentioned the MDC, but they might try to put him in a private prison for cooperators like he was last time, Geo in Queens. And the next hearing is on November 12th, in which he'll either plead guilty to the specifications and be sentenced, and maybe the judge would be, he said he'll take into account all this mitigation and sentencing, or he'll dispute them and there'll be an evidentiary hearing on how he left the Dominican Republic, why he tested positive for meth. He said that's Adderall. There's a lot of things going on. You can find the thread. But for now, Inner City Press. We'll cover that alongside Diddy, Eric Adams, and, of course, the election.
You've seen it before. People jumping into lifestyles they know nothing about, trying to pull off a look they don't really live. That's the tale of 6ix9ine. Please make sure to watch the entire video before you leave a comment. For years, people were fascinated by this guy. They even called him a genius. But all I saw was someone putting on a show, trying to act tough in a world he barely knew. This wasn't his life, it was just a costume he put on to grab attention. The fundamental issue is that if you venture into uncharted territory, you will inevitably become entangled in its complexities. 6ix9ine wasn't from that street life. He was a performer who took on a role and ran with it. He started acting the part, talking the talk, and putting on this whole facade to stay in the spotlight. But at what cost? When you enter someone else's territory, obstacles are inevitable. In his case, it wasn't just a wall he hit, it was a crash, a legal entanglement, and a prison sentence. And that prison time, that's not just a show. It's real life catching up with him. 6ix9ine continued to push boundaries, create drama, and strive to remain relevant. But every move he made came with real consequences. Every time he played the bad guy for the crowd, he was writing a check he couldn't cash. Now he's lying in the bed he made, facing the fallout of choices that are impossible to undo. Even after cooperating with the feds to shave some time off, he's still dealing with the ripple effects of every reckless decision. Now let's talk about what this all means for anyone watching from the outside. You see someone like 6ix9ine, possessing wealth, fame, and all the trappings, but at what price? Every choice, every stunt for attention led him here, and now he's in a mess he can't get out of. If you sacrifice your true self for the sake of hype, you run the risk of losing everything genuine about yourself. Because true success, being real, staying true, and not pretending to be someone you're not, are the keys to true success. And just when you thought he might be turning things around, he's back in the headlines, and not for any new music. This time, the situation takes a serious turn as he faces new charges, tangles with illicit substances, and breaches his parole. That's a big deal because parole violations leave no room for bargaining. So here he is, after all he's been through, staring down serious consequences. Remember, his cooperation with the feds was akin to striking a straight path, but he couldn't stick to it. The harsh reality is that attempting to balance between being a street person and a superstar ultimately leads to failure. This isn't about redemption or second chances, it's about making a choice. If you fail to make a choice, life will force you to make it. So, what's next for 6ix9ine? It's a bleak road ahead. He has damaged numerous relationships, and he is facing a challenging situation. But let this serve as a reminder. If you have the opportunity to start anew and make things right, don't waste it. Life doesn't provide limitless opportunities, and if you take risks, you will ultimately face consequences. And as always, hit that follow button and hit subscribe if you enjoy content like this.